Millions of Americans are checking their bank accounts and finding a surprise extra Social Security payments that are raising questions and excitement across the country. With the recent repeal of two controversial provisions, WEP and GPO, thanks to the Social Security Fairness Act of 2023, thousands of retirees, especially former public employees, are receiving retroactive benefits and increased monthly payments. These payments, sometimes seen as double deposits by those receiving both SSI and SSDI, are not a mistake, but rather long-awaited compensation for years of reduced benefits due to outdated policies. Let's break down exactly what's happening, who's eligible, and how this could impact the retirement landscape moving forward. First, some context. The Windfall Elimination Provision, WEP, and Government Pension Offset, GPO, were rules introduced decades ago to reduce Social Security payments for those who also receive pensions from government jobs that did not pay into Social Security. In theory, this was meant to prevent double dipping. In reality, it severely penalized millions of hardworking Americans, especially teachers, firefighters, police officers, and public health workers who served their communities, paid into retirement systems, and then saw their Social Security benefits drastically slashed. Many were unaware of these cuts until they applied for benefits and were shocked by how little they received. This inequity sparked decades of debate and advocacy. Lawmakers across the aisle heard the growing frustration of their constituents, and finally, the Social Security Fairness Act was passed. Signed into law in early 2023, this act repealed WEP and GPO, paving the way for more equitable benefit calculations. For millions of people, this doesn't just mean slightly higher monthly payments, it means a retroactive payout to make up for years of lost income. And that's where the big numbers come in. Average retroactive payments are hovering around $6,710, with some recipients getting over $5,000 in one lump sum. So, if you're wondering why your Social Security deposit this Friday seems unusually high, say $4,210 plus another $2,350, it may be because of this retroactive adjustment combined with your usual monthly disbursement. This has led many to believe there's a double payment or even a bonus stimulus. But what's really happening is a correction. The Social Security Administration is working hard to push out these payments in waves, prioritizing retirees most affected by the repealed provisions. Over 1.1 million Americans have already seen these payments hit their accounts, and more are scheduled throughout April and May. It's not just the size of these payments that matters, it's what they represent. For many older Americans living on fixed incomes, every dollar counts. The extra money may help cover rising healthcare costs, rent, groceries, and other essentials. It might even allow some seniors to catch up on overdue bills or afford long-postponed home repairs. Beyond the immediate financial relief, the repeal sends a powerful message. After decades of being penalized, public servants are finally being acknowledged and compensated for their full contributions to society. But the path to this point hasn't been smooth. Implementing the new rules meant recalculating benefits for millions, a monumental task for the already overburdened Social Security Administration. Complicating matters, the SSA recently underwent staffing cuts as part of a government streamlining initiative. The agency is trying to do more with fewer workers, heavier workloads, and unprecedented demand for clarity on these new payments. This has led to longer processing times, confusion among recipients, and sometimes inconsistent information from SSA representatives. Still, the agency insists that it's moving as quickly as possible to get payments out and answer people's questions. So, what should you do if you believe you're eligible but haven't received a payment yet? First, check your benefits statement online at the SSA portal. You can also call the SSA directly at 1-800-772-1213, though be prepared for long hold times due to high call volumes. It's also wise to consult with a financial advisor who specializes in retirement benefits or a nonprofit advocacy group like the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare. They can help you understand what you're owed, whether you're eligible for retroactive payments, and how to appeal if your payment seems off. If you're on both SSI and SSD, things might get a little more complicated. While many recipients are receiving increased benefits under both programs, the way those payments are scheduled can make it seem like you've received two payments at once. 1. for SSI and one for SSDI, or a regular benefit plus a retroactive one. The key here is timing. Sometimes, due to weekends or holidays, the SSA issues payments early, which can create the illusion of a bonus or double dip. Always check your benefit breakdown before making any assumptions. Social Security has long been the backbone of retirement in America, but its future has often been clouded by uncertainty, political gridlock, and outdated formulas that fail to reflect modern economic realities. The repeal of WEP and GPO is a rare bipartisan win, signaling a shift in how we value our public servants and retirees. But it's just one step. Advocates are already pushing for broader reforms, including increasing the maximum benefit cap, adjusting the retirement age to reflect longer life expectancies, and making COLA cost of living adjustments more responsive to inflation patterns experienced by seniors, such as rising medication and housing costs. For now, the focus remains on making sure the current rollout of payments is fair, complete, and transparent. If you're a retiree affected by the change, this is the time to stay informed, keep records of all payments received, and seek help if anything seems incorrect. You've waited long enough for fairness. Don't let bureaucratic errors or misinformation prevent you from receiving what you're owed. If you're a family member of someone receiving benefits, especially someone elderly or without access to technology, take time to help them check their benefits or make that phone call. The SSA system isn't always user-friendly, but the rewards of persistence can be substantial. Another important point to keep in mind is taxes. Retroactive payments may be taxable depending on your total income for the year. While Social Security income is often not taxed for lower-income retirees, larger lump sums could push your earnings into a taxable range. Be sure to consult with a tax professional when you file next year to avoid any surprises. There may also be implications for other needs-based assistance programs if a large retroactive deposit temporarily inflates your bank balance. Again, expert guidance is your best defense. This story of change is about more than money. It's about justice, long-term advocacy, and the power of public voice. The WEP and GPO provisions stood for decades, despite countless studies and testimonies highlighting the unfairness they caused. It took a groundswell of support, thousands of letters to Congress, and years of lobbying from unions, retirees, and advocacy groups to finally achieve this change. The lesson? Change is slow, but not impossible. The same energy that made this repeal possible can now be directed toward other areas of needed reform. In conclusion, whether you're a retiree who just received a $6,710 check, someone waiting for your turn, or simply trying to understand the headlines, know this: the system is finally catching up with fairness, even if it took decades. This isn't a fluke, and it's not a gimmick. It's the result of long overdue corrections to policies that never should have penalized public service in the first place. Share this information with anyone who might benefit. Check your benefits. Ask questions. And most importantly, celebrate the progress that's been made and keep pushing for more. Because everyone deserves a secure, dignified retirement, and it's time our systems reflect that truth.